Welcome to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. For the next hour, you'll hear proven methods for how to live the multiple income streams dream. Ryan is passionate about helping others discover their gifts and start their own business. He's published 5 books, and his courses and group coaching programs have changed the lives of thousands of students all over the world. Ryan's books include Private Label, The Easy Way, Finding Your Grace Place, and his latest, Streams of Income. And now, here's your host, Ryan Rieger.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Streams of Income radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger. And last Thursday, I did a webinar called The Most Important Webinar I've Ever Done. I've done hundreds of webinars over the last several years, mostly dealing with e-commerce, Amazon-related stuff. This one was way different, and I called it The Most Important Webinar I've Ever Done. It was very vague. Didn't have much of a description, and I had a record turnout, I think just because of curiosity, people trying to figure out what in the world was this about. And so we unveiled a new project that we're working on, and this episode is just a shortened version of that webinar, so you can hear my heart behind this. But essentially, I'll give you a real quick summary here because I want you to know that this is important to me. It may not be the most important to you, but I want to get as many people to hear about this because I think this is really cool. So my good buddy Stephen Hibbert and Stephen has been a guest host of this podcast many times. He and I are working on a translation software, artificial intelligence translation software that allows for very fast, inexpensive translation of content, audio and video, even text, into multiple languages. Now, my heart instantly goes to how can we use this for ministry purposes? But as a content creator, I also see the tremendous potential it has for anybody that is putting out YouTube content, anybody that has a podcast, whether they're a Christian or not, that could really use this to get their message out to the world. And so I'm excited about this. This is something that I'm just super, super pumped about. And I want to, in this webinar, we gave folks an opportunity to help us create this, get some incredible bonuses, and get a tax deduction because I partnered with my friends at Globe International. So you'll hear the details in this episode. I hope that if you just hear my heart, this is something I'm super excited about. And if you are interested in joining with us, we'd love to have you partner with us on this. Here is this episode. Guys, I know all y'all are probably thinking, what in the world is this all about? And I've got so many messages, people saying, man, I'm intrigued. You got me curious about what in the world this is. And so excited to share it with you. Let's jump into it. Before we do that, let me introduce you, Stephen Hibbert. You guys have probably seen him on lots of webinars. He's been a podcast guest host with me. The episode that airs tomorrow with Eric Nevins, he's also on with me. He and I are doing a lot of business things together. Crazy story how we met. But he lives in St. Petersburg, Florida, has an e-commerce background. But he and I are working on the VA service together and doing a lot of really cool things, including what we're going to share tonight. And Scott is the development director of Globe International. They are a large mission sending organization. They do a lot of really cool stuff around the world. And he's going to share about what they do and how I've actually partnered up with them to share with you what I've got going on. So that's why he's on. We're going to talk about some really cool stuff. So he's going to be a part of this as well. So guys, thanks for doing this with me. Appreciate it.
This is fun stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, excited.
Right, let's jump in here. Everybody's waiting like, what's going on? What's Ryan doing now? All right. Can y'all see that now?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So guys, and this is no joke. This is the most important webinar to me that I've ever done. I'll tell you, for some of you, this may not be the most important webinar I've ever done, and that's okay. That's why I have decided to bribe you. And I will stay true to my word. If you stick around to the end, whether this appeals to you or not, that is totally fine. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here. It means a lot to me. I shared this with Steve, and I got a message from somebody today who said, Ryan, I can't be on tonight's webinar, but you know what? Whatever it is, I'm going to be a part of it. And like, that's amazing to me. Awesome. That I've built up that much trust with people that he would say that. I'm very honored and grateful. You guys that have been a part of my audience for the last few years, it means a lot to me that I could send out an email like, hey, I'm going to do a webinar, the most important one I've ever done, and I have this many people show up. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Whether or not what I talk about is the least bit interesting to you, that's okay. I still want to reward you. I have a streams of income workshop that I did. Tim, who's on here, was a part of that. And if you've read my book, you'll know that I talk about the 3 main ways to make money online. And this workshop goes through how to figure out which one might be a fit for you, thinking about your skill set, your desires, your goals, and building a business around what you want to do rather than build a business and build your life around that. The reason we go into business is we want a certain lifestyle, we want a certain time freedom. So let's build a business that allows us to have that. So we talk about that in the workshop. And so everybody here is going to get those videos for free, include some downloads that you can go through. And also I put together an Amazon Quick Start program. Some of you probably already been through it, but Honey Woods, if you're in the e-commerce space with me, you've seen her face. She and I did this a couple of years ago. But this stuff is still very relevant on how to get started on Amazon quickly. If you've not sold on there before, if you're coming back to Amazon, that'll be really helpful. We sell those two together. I've never bundled them together, but they're $97 each. And so I'm giving those away totally for free just for being here. So just want to let you know, guys, I appreciate it. My desire, and guys, I hope I can, I don't want to cry in this webinar, but I can get emotional talking about this stuff. Those of you that have followed me for any length of time know that my heart is ministry. My business is my ministry, and I am grateful for it. It's been so fun over the last several years as I've got into information, writing books, creating courses, creating the Legends group that I have where we teach people how to make money online. The testimonials are so fun to be able to help somebody leave their job to go hang out with their family and be dad, be mom to them, and not have to go to a 9-to-5 that they hate. My goodness, to me, that is a ministry. And I'm going to be doing that for as long as I possibly can. But I also know that I've wanted to go deeper. There are so many other things that I want to do in ministry that I've not done yet. And so that's kind of the gist of tonight, but I'm going to give you a creative way how you can be a part of this. And so for some of you, this is going to be exciting because if you're a believer that you're going to get behind this and love what I'm doing. Those of you who aren't, that's totally fine. I still want you to know that I love you and I appreciate you being on this webinar, and you can still be a part of this. And we got some incredible bonuses if you decide you want to jump in and help me do what Stephen and I are building. So my desire is I want to see people come to the Lord. I want to see people around the world who don't know him yet have an opportunity to hear him and decide and make an eternal decision. Mm-hmm. And I already do that some with my podcast and my emails. I get so many emails back on Fridays when I send out those devotionals that somebody will say, man, that's exactly what I needed to hear this today. And I plan on continuing to do that. But I'll be honest with you, I have an email list of about 21,000 people. There are 7 billion people in the world.
Yeah.
7 billion people in the world that have no idea who I am. And it's not about knowing who I am. I don't care. I want to make Jesus's name known to them. And so that's kind of the gist of what I'm going to be talking about tonight. But again, if that turns you off at all, just please stick around, because I promise you there's an opportunity to be involved that will excite you, even if you don't care about my heart behind this. There's lots of potential of what I'm going to talk about completely outside of the spiritual stuff. So let me show you though real quick, do a new share here. So back in 2014, I created this website, and the only reason, don't even go here, guys, it's an awful website. But I just want to show you the copyright 2014. This site is called reachingtheworldonline.com. So just so you know that my heart to take what I know about internet marketing, about any business skills I've learned online to help spread the gospel, that's been on my heart for even before 2014. So, but now I feel like I'm now at a stage in my life and business that I can focus some more time on that specifically. So I'm not going to go around this website here, but just know my heart's been ministry focused for a long time. And I'm excited about this next stage, because this is very much more, it's more proactive. It's more focused on ministry. We're going to go back to the slides for a second, and we're going to jump back and forth from the slides into our faces. So guys, here's something I am not okay with. There are 17, and this is where Scott's going to come in and probably enlighten us a lot on these things here, but there are 17,400 people groups around the world, and 7,400 of them are considered unreached. So I'm going to stop the share there. And this is where I'm bringing Scott in from Globe International just to talk about these numbers. All to say, guys, I think that Stephen and I have an opportunity to do something about it in a major way. And I'm not joking about that. I believe that this has tremendous potential. But Scott, tell me about a people group and unreached people groups and what that means.
Well, before I do, Ryan, one of the things we want to tell everybody is, we're going to share some numbers and statistics with you, but these are, anthropological statistics, which means that they are as much information that can be garnered at the moment. That doesn't mean that they're the end-all answer. In fact, some of the numbers that we're going to share with you are probably skewed a little bit as far as the numbers of people and people groups. And the percentages are probably actually lower than what we're going to share with you. Again, because there are people still around this planet that aren't reached by, the census taker that walks down the road. They're not online. And so those people aren't necessarily counted in this. But, your question is, Ryan, what is a people group? A people group can be considered a couple of different things. A people group are people of the same language.
Mm-hmm.
A people group are the people of the same ethnicity. A people group are the people of the same religion. We on this webinar tonight are a people group. We all listen to what Ryan Rieger has to say to bring us forward into a success point in life. But people groups can be anything where people are collected together under one banner. And there are people groups, as most of us on this feed this evening are Americans, people born in the U.S., living in the U.S., moved to the U.S. We are a people group within ourselves. So you look at that as any group of peoples that are gathered together under one banner.
And so a lot of these stats that I'm just going to share some numbers, and Scott's going to chime in and just maybe add some color to it. This all comes from a organization called the Joshua Project that have put these numbers together here. And Scott's very well familiar with them and said these numbers are, pretty close to accurate. I mean, they need updating. I don't know when this article was written, but I think it was pretty recent. It means with the 7,400 people groups still considered unreached, that means over 40% of the world's people groups have no indigenous community of believing Christians available or able to evangelize the rest of their people group. All right. Here are some sobering facts about that. All 50, so if you just talk about the 50 largest unreached people groups, all 50 of them have less than 2% Christ followers. Individuals in these groups may have limited or, if any, access to the gospel. These 50 people groups, just the top 50 of 7,400 unreached, are comprised of 1.48 billion with a B people. That means 1 in 5 people on earth live in these 50 unreached people groups. None have an indigenous church capable of taking the gospel to the entire group. And all of these 50 are in the 1040 window. Scott, what's the 1040 window?
The 1040 window encompasses a good portion of Asia, South Asia, the meridian through the Arats and things like that. We're talking the bread basket, if you will. If you look at the bread basket of America, that's the production point of the U.S. Mm-hmm. If you look at the 1040 window and we were to draw it out on a map point to point, it would be where most of the populace of the world is coming from right now.
Okay. And then it says 47 of these 50 are in sensitive countries. And sensitive, that means it's sensitive to like where you can't go in there and say, hey, I'm a missionary.
It is illegal to propagate anything outside of the government's religion or the local accepted religion.
Got it. Okay, back to the slides for a second. So just to differentiate a people group versus a political country, like according to this slide here, Nigeria obviously is a single political country, but within Nigeria, according to the Joshua Project, there's over 540 people groups, each needing a church planting movement in their midst. Huh?
That's correct.
And Scott, I would imagine other countries might look similar. Like some I would
Very
imagine
similar. You know,
India
if you
probably has a lot of people groups, for
if
example.
you go into, you know, India, Thailand, you know, if you go into some of these countries that have engaged in cultural overlap for centuries, it is incredibly more distinct. You will go from village to village in Southeast India, where languages don't translate 50 miles down the road. Yeah. Some without written language at all.
Awesome. And guys, just so you know, I know there might be some of you like, man, hurry up and get to the good stuff. And for you that please hang around. This is not going to be a really long webinar. We're probably a few slides. We're just a few slides in, but I only have like 25 slides. So please hang in there. I just want you to hear what we've got going on, and please stick around. Okay. I want to talk about unengaged versus unreached. So according to the Joshua Project, it also says that unengaged, and I'll have Scott provide some more clarity on this. Unengaged means that there are definitely no missionaries, and in all likelihood, no outreach, no church, no Christian materials, and few, if any, Bibles in these people groups.
That's correct. So the difference between an unreached people group and an unengaged group, an unreached people group that refers to an ethnic group, or again, a group under a single banner, that are indigenous to a region or area, and they have no self-propagating Christian movement within their midst. This means that there are not enough Christians to evangelize the rest of that nation, which then states that they are an unreached people group. These can also be called least reached. You'll hear this sometimes. The difference between, by contrast, the unengaged, unreached people groups to the others is they are usually an ethno-linguistic group that have no known active church planting function in their midst. That may mean because of language, no known written word of the Bible, or, as you said, Ryan, no missionaries to be able to serve them. And unfortunately, that is the case in some of these areas of the world that have a small linguistic base, that there is no known missionary to speak the language or Bible for them to be able to read.
Wow. And because these are in sensitive countries, that means if I came to you and said, Scott, I want to go to one of these countries, we have to get creative, and I have to go in under a business visa or other visas. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. Yeah. You know, there are probably more people doing field work out in sensitive areas than folks realize. But they are doing good works other than just evangelism. They might be setting up entrepreneurial businesses, just like we're part of this group. They're helping people be active, progressive, and successful in life. And then it's a way to then disciple those that they're involved with to share also their faith. So there are things being done on the ground other than just what people would think of as a traditional missionary, only going in with the Bible, only going in with Bible materials. Many of these missionaries are working on behalf of the betterment of communities, cities, and whole cultures.
Wow. According to this, also it says 24 to 27% of the world population haven't had the good news presented to them in a way that they could appreciate and meaningfully respond to. That's incredible to me.
It is incredible.
Say goodnight.
Big numbers. And as I said, you know, these numbers.
Good night.
There's
Say
the
goodnight,
man.
everybody. All right. See you, buddy.
You know, these numbers we're taking off statistics that are garnered by those that are on the ground. But again, there are pockets within our planet. We don't think about that in the modern social media age where everybody's connected, that there's these pockets that don't have any outside communication.
Yeah. And Scott, according to this, they talk about the great imbalance, and it says over 90% of all missionaries work among already reached peoples. Is that accurate?
I don't want to admit that to you, but that is the truth.
Wow.
There is a great imbalance. You know, few. Well, let's say, put it this way: many are called, but few answer.
So it says for every dollar of Christian resources, for every dollar, so a buck, less than 1 penny is directed at reaching unreached peoples.
Can you imagine if we dedicated what we spend on coffee in America to reaching people that have not heard as of yet?
Unbelievable. Why do you think that is? Like, is it because obviously it sounds like it's harder for a missionary to go there physically, so that might be one reason. But is it just I guess we're going to be talking about this in the next couple slides. But is it because they are hard to reach? It's not like, certainly you can go there, but you got to go under a different, you can't say, hey, I'm a missionary and I want to tell you about Jesus.
There are multiple factors involved in why this unbalance is there. But, one of the big reasons is translating the word, translating other materials, language learning. Up until now, there has not been the ease of translating through the cloud, through the internet. But wow. I think we're probably going to hear some more about that in times to come.
There we go. Possible solution, Bible translation. And so we can talk on that for a second. With Bible translation, according to this, it says that Bible translating agencies like Wycliffe, for example, report that approximately 1,800 languages have definite translation need. That means for mother tongue speakers of those 1,800 languages, no scripture exists at all. They may have limited access to the scriptures in trade or major languages, but no access in their heart language, meaning the language that they speak natively.
A dear friend of mine who's now passed was a Wycliffe Bible translator for 30 years. And I had opportunity just to ask him, a myriad of questions in his retiring years. And one of the things I asked, was why does it take so long to translate the way things used to be done, literally by hand, to walk out into a certain field, to pick a people group that has had no translation done within them? Why does it take 30 years? And he says, as a linguist, we have a job to do. That is to make certain that we not only translate the language correctly, but we also translate the nuances. When you look at America, if you travel from Florida, where Stephen and I are, to Texas, where Ryan is, to the Northwest, there's going to be nuances in language. If you look at the English language in the UK, in Australia, in New Zealand, there's nuances that are different, and things can mean very different things. Eric Miller's popped on the night. How many, Eric, just type it in the chat. How many islands are within the Philippine island chain? There are numerous languages and dialects. 7,000. 7,000 islands. Can you imagine the nuances and the ability to translate into each of these?
Unbelievable. Wow. Then it says also, even if we get all those 1,800 languages, those translated, get scriptures translated in those languages, it says here that in addition, 60% of the world's population is considered oral learners. Yes. Meaning their preferred learning mode is oral, not written. And then it says for those that are either illiterate or oral learners, newspapers, books, printed matter, internet text, even a physical Bible will have minimal impact.
Or none.
Or no impact. Oh my goodness. Okay. Move along here, guys. We really don't have a whole lot longer, honestly. But the next big problem then is even if we did translate it, according to the Joshua Project, there are an estimated 1 billion people who are considered illiterate. So even if we translate it, they couldn't even read it.
Some of the greatest ministry, boy, I shouldn't use that word. Some of the most encouraging ministries that I have the honor of being involved in are their main thrust is biblical storytelling. Mm-hmm. Because the written word is so precious to all of us, whether it's the Bible or another favorite book or a newspaper or magazines we read. It's precious to us. Literacy is a precious, precious gift. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have that, how are you going to get information? It's through the received word, through the ears, or if somebody is impaired, through sign language or touch. something you've learned other than the ability to read. And so the heard word is just as important. And the heard word is more effective right now across the planet than the written word.
Wow. Okay. All right. So even if we were able to translate it, they couldn't read it. At least 1 billion of them couldn't. So the solution then, he just talked about how the heard word is better. So how about we translate these videos, translate the scriptures, translate all the podcasts that are out there. I have a friend named John Stange who has a Bible podcast. He just reads the Bible. He's got an amazing radio voice, and he's got a ton of downloads of his Bible podcast. We could take all those and translate it, and that would be awesome. However, it can cost as much as $75 per minute to translate audio and video, and it takes a lot of time. So I know that there's big ministries that are already doing this to try to be the solution for what we're talking about tonight, but it's only big ministries that are doing this, the people with the big budget. So it's very cost and time prohibitive. Scott, can you attest to that?
That's absolutely true, Ryan. For an organization like ours, Globe International, we serve throughout the Globe network around the world. We serve 300 missionaries in roughly about 35 countries. Mm-hmm. We're considered a small or medium-sized agency. Mm-hmm. We work on a tight strategic budget to meet the needs of all of our ministries and our humanitarian aid ministries across the world. There's not always the budget for other things that we would like to do, like translating videos and translating teachings.
All right, so that's expensive, but you guys have all heard of ChatGPT and the AI revolution. AI is coming around the corner. It's already here. But what about AI video translation? Well, guys, it is possible. And instead of $75 a minute, the cost can be as little as $1 per minute. And it can be done very, very quickly. So that's essentially what Stephen and I are building. So we'll show you a couple examples here real quick. So this is my friend, Terry Savelle Foy, and I'm going to play just a couple of seconds of this English version of her video. Stephen and Scott, tell me if you guys can hear this. Sound coming through? Okay, perfect.
Let's talk about 5 things successful people do before 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so that's the English version. And here is the French version.
Parlons de 5 choses que les gens qui réussissent font avant 8 heures du matin, mais permettez-moi d'abord de dire que c'est le moment idéal de l'année pour vous de clôturer l'ancienne.
And so guys, I don't know French, but I had somebody that does check it out, and they said it's very, very, very accurate. So that's all. I just have to trust them. But guys, AI technology is here for us to be able to do that. And it's not in, Stephen found this amazing clip. Let me show you this clip from Mr. Beast. He's one of the most popular YouTubers out there. He's already doing this. And I'll let you listen to this 1-minute clip from him.
What has going multi-language meant for your channel in terms of reach and growth and subs and views and all that?
Well, I mean, big thing is most people just don't even know this is a thing yet. You know, most of the world doesn't speak English. And so if you make content in English, most of the world can't watch your videos. The second you do videos in every language, your reach literally like 5 to 6x's your potential reach. You know, I'm not saying your views will 5 to 6x. It's kind of a no-brainer if you have the resources too, and basically be able to reach not just people who speak English, which, you know, depending on where you see it, could be 10, 20% of the world, whatever. You can reach everyone. You know, if you do like the top 15 languages, you can reach basically 90% of the world. I think it's just a huge win for creators and a huge win for viewers. I'm a big fan of just content being more global, and does it take a genius to figure out that our Espanol channel was doing over 20 million views of video? Some of the videos were getting 100 million views. You know, our Portuguese channel was doing 5 to 10 million views of video. French was doing millions of views of video. And so it supercharges the heck out of the videos. So, I mean, put 2 and 2 together, it's added a lot of views per video for us.
Wow. So Mr. Beast is already doing this, and it's possible. And that's what Steve and I want to do. And it's building this software. I'll go back to the slides. Kind of weird going back and forth like this, but I want just you to see our faces since we're not flying through slides really fast. Is that we are building, I'm not, Steven's not, I'm not a developer. I know nothing about that side of it, but it's we are building AI software that'll allow us to translate audio and video. Now, my heart is ministry, but I know a lot of business people who have YouTube channels, who have podcasts, who want to get their message out as well, and this will work for them as well. And we want to offer it to them also. But my heart in this is ministry. The reason I'm developing this with Stephen is for ministry purposes. But again, we're going to let anybody in that wants to create content, use their content, and get it into multiple languages to get their message out across the world. And so I'm just crazy excited about this. I've shared this with already many of the ministries that I'm associated with, and they are pumped. Yes. Scott, I mean, tell me real quick, some of the use cases that when I shared this with you, you're like, I shared it over a Facebook Messenger chat, and you were like, I think you said, wow, or something incredible. What went through your mind when you saw it?
Mind blown. We have just in normal teachings alone to be able to offer this to our missionaries. In fact, I'm going to jump the gun. I have already begun sharing this with several of our missionaries on the field who have training, especially in humanitarian aid type ministries. For instance, we have ministries that are involved in anti-human trafficking, anti-sex trafficking, where they are taking men, women, and children literally out of the hands of human traffickers. And to do this, they are training people on the ground in various countries where this is happening to be a part of these organized human recovery functions for these rescues. And so translation, if you don't have a full crew of people that are speaking the language of that country, training your people who are rescuers can be very difficult. What if you had the teaching and the parameters and all the safety measures and all the things that you need to do, and you don't quite speak the language fully just yet, or your team does not, and you can instantaneously translate all those safety protocols into the heart language of those people that are going to be involved in those rescues. I mean, you have now just accelerated the ability to save people's lives.
Tell me, when you mentioned we were sitting at lunch at our favorite Turkish place in Hamlin, is that right?
Hamlin, yeah.
Hamlin, Florida, right by where you live, Scott, outside of Orlando. And you said the power of this to plant instant churches. Talk about that for a second.
So again, one of the things we always want to do when we send out any type of new ministry to the field is they need to have cultural and language training. Language training can be something that is ongoing from prior to launch until after. Again, when you're in an area maybe that has a certain nuance of that language, like Eric Miller, you might know the language, but there's things that you need to pick up on. Mm-hmm. So if you have instantaneous translation into the heart language of the people that you're serving, you've got the ability to plant instant churches. Whether that be, house churches, small groups of people gathering together. But again, this becomes a community rallying point. The church itself is not, it is absolutely for the propagation of the gospel. Let me be frank about that. But the church, as it should be, can be a community point for language training, business development, excellence of life, hygiene, health. All those things can come out of a church plant that is now speaking and can translate teachings into the heart language of the people that you're serving.
Scott, something that I thought about, you tell me if this is a crazy statement to say. I kind of feel like this technology has the power to revolutionize how the gospel gets out there. And it's maybe as impactful as the time when Pat Robertson founded this CBN network back in 1960. The power of television to get the gospel out. I feel like this is another revolution that might be equal to that. Is that a crazy statement?
That's a crazy statement. And I can't believe you're saying it because I believe it's absolutely true. We have a number of people in this feed tonight that are, a part of your circles of influence, a number of people who are very capable and have great capacity to generate business ideas, business opportunities, streams of income, which someone wonderful on this feed coined that phrase. But, I just think about the ability for people who have these types of capacities and the ability to teach, to even share their teachings with those already going to the field. If you've got someone on here that's that has a business that they do coaching and teaching on, to instantly translate that and send that out with people who are, again, let's talk about folks that are being rescued from sex trafficking or human trafficking, that need a way to make a living, that needed income, and to be able to couple those two things together and to make it literally business in mission.
Wow. So again, guys, my heart is ministry. That's why we're talking about it from the ministry angle. But please know that this is, like, Stephen and I are already thinking about the potential. Like, if Mr. Beast is out there doing this, then every other YouTuber is going to be like, I want to do videos like Mr. Beast. And so I'm excited about the opportunities of even serving folks like that. But again, my heart's ministry. You guys know that, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to serve somebody else that wants to use this technology. And I'm just crazy excited about it. So,
mind blown.
Back to the slides and guys, we're almost done here. You just show you an opportunity, how you can help us get this launched and get some incredible bonuses. So honestly, we need your help. And right now I kind of feel like I'm the televangelist saying, please send your money. It's not like that though. And we'll give you this awesome, cool plaque that has your name on it. It's better than that. But honestly, guys, if I ever had to beg on a webinar, this would be the one. I'm not begging, but I want you to be excited about this too. And if you're not, I still want you to be excited, because some incredible bonuses that we want to offer folks if you decide to partner with us to help make this possible. And so we've came up by having Scott on this call. One big reason he's on this call is I've found a creative way to work with him and Globe International to get this thing launched. So imagine this, that whether this excites you or not, whether you care about this technology or not, I want to share with you guys some bonuses that I hope some of you might think, you know what, that's cool, but but these bonuses are amazing. That's what I hope will get some of you to take action and help us out to build this. But there's an opportunity that you can get some incredible bonuses, help us build this software because it's not cheap, and help Globe International at the same time. So real quick, Scott, why don't you talk just for a couple minutes or less about Globe and what you guys do?
So Globe International is a 50-year-old missions sending, training, and serving agency. We were originally based out of Pensacola, Florida, but we have Globe offices all around the planet. And as I said earlier, we serve roughly about 300 ministries and field workers in 35 countries. And Globe is the underpinning for those ministries. We serve those that have orphanages, training programs, as I mentioned, anti-human trafficking, Christian schools, multiple humanitarian aid functions. We also serve those that have niche ministries, like where they take communities and teach them the trade, and they help them through and use that as a discipleship program to bring them into the fullness of the gospel, befriending people through bringing excellence of life, both physically and spiritually. We do have traditional ministries like most people would think of when they hear the word missionary, that do evangelism and crusades. But most of our missionaries around the world are involved with a people group or a region where they are embedded with the people, living with the people, and learning with the people as part of their communities. And we serve them both in partner-based functions through administration. We handle their database systems. We handle their personal care, whether it be medical, familial, marital, other things like that. We also handle all of their income as it comes through so that they don't have to worry about media services, financial and banking services, administrative services, mail services, or any type of daily functionality. So we do all of that for them behind the scenes so they can actually be free to do what they're called to do in the place where they're called to be.
That's awesome. So guys, there's an opportunity where you can be a part of this. And let me just explain this just for a second, where you can help us build this software, or by essentially donating money to Globe, you will get a tax donation receipt for that, 100% tax deductible. And I am going to give you bonuses. And what we're doing is essentially the people that help us do this are investing in prepaid minutes. So it's like a 4-way win. My friend Jim Cockrum talks about a triple-way win. So you guys are going to get some incredible bonuses. Even if you just don't do anything, you stick around at the end of the webinar, we got those courses we're giving you, but even better bonuses, which we're going to share here in a second. Globe gets these prepaid minutes that they can use for any courses that they have, any training they have, the missionaries that are preaching, teaching, creating content. They can donate those minutes. They're going to have a bank of minutes essentially that they can pull from. You guys are helping make that possible, and we are able to make this software happen. So let me just share quickly here different ways that you guys can be involved. So we put together 3 different bonus levels. Now I'll share here the screen where you will go if you want to help us out here, and it's on Globe's site, and I'll explain that site here in a second. But we have a $500 level, a $1,000 level, and a $5,000 level. Now, if you guys aren't in any of those levels and still want to help, that's okay. We have opportunity to do whatever you feel comfortable. But if you are coming at the $500 level, you're going to get my Streams of Income ebook. I imagine a lot of you guys already have this on this webinar. You'll also get the audiobook. Probably fewer of you have the audiobook version. I've partnered with Jimmy Smith to get his Side Hustle to Full-Time Income ebook and the audiobook. As many of you know, I am the co-founder, now the sole founder of the Legends Group, where we teach people how to make money on Amazon specifically, but it's the business building Legends Group. So there's way more than just Amazon in there. You get a 60-day trial of Legends, which is worth $394. And I'm throwing in a 30-minute clarity/brainstorm call with me. And if you don't want to hang out with me, you can do Stephen. We'll jump on with you. That's worth $250. So you get a $744 value for a $500 investment. And what's really cool is that we think we're going to be right around the $1 per minute rate. But for these prepaid minutes, we are essentially saying anybody that comes in at the $500 level, we are going to, you'll get a tax deduction, you'll get these bonuses, and then Globe is going to get, instead of 500 minutes, Globe is going to get 1,000 minutes of video or audio to use however they want and translate it however they want. Now, let me show you the site real fast I just want you to go over that one more time to make that very clear, because it is pretty incredible what we're able to do partnering up with Globe. Yeah. Someone can give 500, get a value of 7, I forget the exact number, but not only are they getting that, but they're essentially prepaying for minutes to be used however they feel, and they get the write-off for it. So it's like you said, that 4 times win is amazing, because we're partnering with Globe and we get them that tax write-off. Yep, they get the tax write-off. Globe gets to do some really cool stuff. It's helping them too, because Globe's keeping a small percentage of this. I want this to be a blessing to Globe as well. So they're going to get to help some cool missionaries and help kids around the world and people around the world, and they're going to get 1,000 minutes of video. So can I add a 5th win out there? This is just in my daily vernacular, folks. The reality is, by partnering with Ryan and Stephen's venture this evening, because they have chosen to take this through Globe International, as you are partnering with them, you're actually partnering with ministries, missionaries around the world. So, and again, I don't want to sound like a televangelist either, but the reality is, every dollar that you put into this is making a difference around the globe immediately. Globe has always been one of those organizations that the funding that comes into us, we put it directly into our missionaries immediately. We don't carry a big, savings account. We do for emergencies and things like that. And of course, we have to pay our staff, and we have other things in the course of doing business. But the funds that come in for ministry are put to use immediately. So your investment tonight is not only investing in this with running the translation and bringing
bringing this project to fruition, you are making a difference on the planet right now.
That's awesome. Thanks. This is what the site looks like. So these are the bonus levels, 500, 1,000, and 5,000, but you can do more if you want. You can do less. And then just select, there's only one option here. Select the Ryan Rieger AI Translation Project. You can choose to add the 3% if you want to cover the credit card fees. That's optional. Add in your billing information and a credit card. So just want you to know that the payment side is on Globe's side. They're going to keep track of all of this. Let me know who did what. Scott's going to be getting emails and forward them to me. And then I will manually go in and send, like I see Tasha on here. And so like if Tasha does the $500, I'm going to send an email to Tasha and say, here's the page with all your bonuses. And I'll just do that for everybody that hits either the 500, the 1,000, or the 5,000. So if you do this, just please know it may take, a day or two before we get you that bonus page. You've got my email. You guys know where to find me. I know if you're on here, you trust me. I'll make sure you get what you what the bonus level that you bought in for. But again, you can do any gift that you want, but these are the bonus levels. So let me do the real quickly and show you the $1,000 level. At the $1,000 level, you get all the above that you had on the $500 level, but instead of a 60-day trial of Legends, it's a 6-month trial of Legends. That's $1,182 value. Instead of a 30-minute call with me, it's an hour-long call. And then I've also been able to partner with my friend Greg Tosi, who's about to launch a Facebook ads course. That's free. And then my friend Melissa Hughes, she has 250,000 followers on TikTok. She posted a video, it went viral, and she ended up on the Kelly Clarkson show. And she put together a TikTok blueprint bundle on how to create short form video. It's like content ideas, how to create, just how to be a TikTok star. And you don't have to dance. And all of that is a value of $2,532 for $1,000. And Globe gets 2,000 minutes instead of the normal 1,000 minutes. So that's the $1,000 level. And then the $5,000 level, anybody wants to jump in there and invest in that, you can get all the above, but instead of 6 months of Legends, you get 1 year, a whole year trial of Legends, totally free, $2,347 value, a 1-hour call with me. You'll get the Facebook ads course, the TikTok blueprint bundle. My friend Ryan Horn, who is a coach, he's a success coach. He's actually my coach. I talk to him about every week, and he's helped me a ton get clarity, get focused on what I'm doing. And it's, the best people, the people like, Tony Robbins, he has coaches for every area of his life. So it's been awesome having him to just keep me accountable to what I'm working on. So he's thrown in a 1-hour coaching call. That's a $500 value. And I've never done anything like this. But if anybody wants to do the $5,000 level, if you're willing to come to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I will do an in-person coaching day. And I know a lot of people that charge a lot more than this. Steven and I went up to Wisconsin to hang out with a guy named Dana Derricks, and it cost a whole lot more than $5,000 to spend a day and a half with him. But I put that value at $5,000. That's probably a little bit low, but that's probably what I'd charge if one of you guys said you want to hang out with me for the day and do like a day-long coaching. But that's a $9,197 value of bonuses that you get. You'll get a $5,000 tax deduction from Globe. You help some really cool missionaries and people around the world. And Globe gets 10,000 minutes of translated and dubbed video. So again, it's going to look like this site here. I posted in the chat. It's a tiny URL link there, tinyurl.com/Ryan Rieger. And then, guys, we'd love to have your help to get this kicked off, because I want to change the world. And I really feel like that this has the opportunity to do that. And as promised, here's the links for the the 2 courses. Steven, if you have those, you can post those links in the chat there. So that's the Streams of Income workshop, and the Quick Start, Amazon Quick Start videos. Those are the links directly to those pages. If you don't have those handy, I can post them too. Fernando, I might be able to make that happen. If you email me, I might be able to hook you up with tickets to the Proven Conference. And I mean, seriously, guys, if there's something, I'll be honest with you. I am so excited about what we're doing here that if some of you said, you know what, Ryan, I remember you did something a long time ago and I wish that was included. Well, tell me what that is. I'll throw that in there or replace it with something. I just want to change people's lives. And I know this software can do it. I know this has the potential of revolutionizing how the gospel gets around the world. And I know people will be in heaven because of this, because of hearing the gospel in their native language. And so I am committed to this. I really feel like God's called me to do this. My life scripture is John 17:4. And in the Message translation, it says, I have glorified you on earth by completing down to the last detail, which you assigned me to do. And I feel like this is an assignment from God to me to get done. And you have an opportunity to help us do that. And I just want to say, guys, I thank you. I appreciate all of you for hanging on this webinar. Happy to stick around and take questions too, if any of you have questions about the software or anything else. And then I want to say thank you guys for being a part of this. Because of you, we can reach them. And that's the site again. Remember, it might take a day or two to get the bonus page to you because we'll have to do this manually. Scott's getting a notification of every email that comes through, and he will message me and it'll be like, hey, Jeannie just did the $1,000 level. So you need to send her, well, he's just going to send me the transaction email, and I will send you back manually that specific page. Yeah, that's the right one, Stephen. The QS, ryanrieger.com/QS.
Okay.
Jenny, if you're already in Legends, I'll just do something creative with you. We'll figure something out.
Can you hit those links, Ryan? Because
yes,
they're coming up errors for me. I don't know if it's just on my end or not.
Well, I'm trying to. Let me just do the direct links. Sometimes the redirects don't work. So there's the workshop page. That's the direct link to the workshop page. And here's the direct link to the quick start videos. And those are totally free for just hanging out with us tonight. What questions do you guys have? I'm happy to stick around for a little bit. George says, when will the software be built and ready to use? We talked to the developer yesterday, and they said within a couple of weeks, we could have an ugly version of it available that wouldn't be public facing. It would just be for Stephen and I to be able to play with, but it would be working. It would be functional. So a couple of weeks, probably. George U.S. said, we have 100 plus 40-minute teaching videos from a YouTube channel that this could be used for. Our local church has many more. Would love to serve your church in that way. That's the other thing too, guys. I assumed, and maybe I assumed wrongly, that 95% of the people on this webinar would not have a need for this translation software for themselves or their business. If you're an Amazon seller, it's not really something that you need. But if you're in ministry, I know, George, you go to a church. I know, Peter, you're a pastor. If you think this might be something that your ministry might be interested in, just contact me directly, because you could get in on this prepaid minute thing and you would get the prepaid minutes, and happy to do that discount, like the 50%. So like you came in at a certain package and that was $1,000 and that's 1,000 minutes, we'd give you 2,000 minutes. So you could use that on your own and that wouldn't have to go to Globe. You just would need to tell me directly and not use that link that I just posted. So email me if you're in that boat and you see a need for it for yourself or your church. Email me at ryan@ryanrieger.com or ryan.e.rieger@gmail, and we will make sure that that's something that you can take advantage of.
Yeah, I think outside the ministry space is also wide open. This is not just for that, but I think finding that Mr. Beast video that was like a couple days old and just hearing him talk about it and seeing that is becoming a lot more normalized in the content creator space was very interesting to me, because there's a bunch of people that have podcasts that are very successful, but they're only in English speaking languages, whereas just a simple translation of that doubles your market. I thought it was interesting too how Mr. Beast was saying, like, as soon as you go to other very well-known languages like Spanish, you're covering most of the world. Me and Ryan have more of a heart for those unreached. So it is a little bit different than how we're trying to go about it, but the software and what we're doing has a large appeal for, I think, anybody that's trying to get a message out there, because it just allows you to speak to a lot more people. Now, we haven't tested a lot of things in the product space, but I would imagine if you're running ads or doing anything and it's content, video content especially, it could just be audio, but a lot of that stuff can be translated and it might open up the doors for you to get into other markets, which is very interesting to me. Because even learning about Amazon sellers, like there's a lot of Spanish searches being done on the American Amazon.com. And I think if you can cater to them, I've seen people have a large spike in sales by just being able to tap into that market, even though it's not the Amazon dot whatever the Spanish speaking language countries are. It's the American side, but it's just catering to people that speak Spanish, even making listings in Spanish.
Yep. Mary said, how do we get this video to other people that may be interested? I will send out a replay to everybody so you can watch this again, or just send it to somebody else that wants to watch it again. Also, we'll say, I believe that I'm going to have the bonuses expire on Sunday, the 12th. That doesn't mean you can't later on get involved and help us out here, but I just want to put a time limit on those bonuses. Benji said, I love this. I was just thinking the same thing about podcasts as well. Peter asked, so is AI a machine talking? So yes, I guess technically it is, but it sounds very, very, very real. And
it's
Peter,
come a long way from the robotic sounding.
Yeah, it's not robotic at all. I will tell you, Peter, I know that it's coming very, very soon because the technology is already here to where, for example, if you wanted to take advantage of this and you wanted to translate your sermons into multiple languages, that you could read a page of text, the machine, the AI, whatever, will learn your voice. And when we translate it into French, it'll sound like you're speaking French or you're speaking Russian. That's right around the corner. And we've talked to developers, and that would be a version 2 or version 3. George asked, how accurate will the translations be? Accuracy when it comes to God's word and teaching is crucial. Yes, amen, 100% for George. The ministries that I've talked to are saying, yes, we love this, but we need it to be accurate. And so I know that right now with the major languages, it's very, very, very accurate. I've had... I don't speak Spanish, but my sister-in-law, who actually is here from Guatemala, just flew in today. One of her workers, who's an American that's working down there, I had her check several of the Spanish videos because I wanted to send them to a ministry and say, hey, here's your main guy speaking Spanish. I wanted to make sure it was accurate. She said it was spot on. Now, if we get into something like Bengali, for example, in India, I know according to our developer, it's not quite 100% yet. But what we would do in that instance is have the AI do its job. Let's say it gets it up to 75% accuracy. We'd have a human come in behind it and make it accurate. George, do we have a video preview of the software in beta, or is it just now being coded? I don't have anything to share with you guys. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions, guys? Post a link again for those of you that want to jump in and be a part of it. Again, you get a tax deduction, incredible bonuses. Globe gets the minutes to use to get their content around the world, bless some missionaries, and we are able to get this software created.
But just so everyone knows that for Ryan, the link that he's given you to invest in this and become a part of this translation project will be live. So you can use this link right now. You can use it an hour from now, but it's going to continue to be live for your use, for you to share with others who you know would be very interested in this project as well. Please share that gift link with them. Globe will keep that live for Ryan so that we can continue to have people become involved.
And George asked, which languages are 100% accurate already? According to our developer, it's the major ones. French, Spanish, English, or German. He said Arabic is very accurate.
There's a couple.
Hindi's very accurate.
Indian languages, yes.
Just if you would Google the top 10 languages around the world, he said those are very, very accurate right now, and the other ones are not too far behind. So cool. I'm happy to hang out with you guys if you got other questions. This is fun for me. I imagine some of you thought this was going to be an e-commerce Amazon webinar, but nothing like it. But that doesn't mean we don't have some e-commerce Amazon bonuses for you. I want to help you build that business too. Wait a minute or so, and if not, we will let everybody go. Stephen, Scott, thanks for doing this with me. It's been a pleasure.
Honored to be part of this. It's exciting stuff.
Benji said no bonuses needed. Well, I'll give it to you anyway, man. How will you handle what you spoke of as languages not in top 10? So, Roger, if the languages aren't available yet, what we would do is, the AI is always learning. But if it's like 50% accurate, 60% accurate, we would just have a human come in behind that and check it to get it the rest of the way. Sorry, Steve, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say, you're always open to ideas also.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't want to put you on the spot, but if anybody in here had an idea for the software, or how it could be used, or an opportunity, because we actually have had some of those calls now where people go, oh, would this work? Is this a possibility? What does this look like? I think we're open to those calls too, because I think the use case for this is very exciting for us also. We have a bunch of ideas, but we don't necessarily have the outlets or manpower right now to do them. But if you have an idea that you want to champion, I think Ryan is very open to helping and
For sure. Yeah, I'll even do affiliate commissions. If you like, let's say you go to a church and I'm like, oh, we love this. You want to do this? Get us in contact with the right person. And if they sign up for what we end up seeing is there's probably going to be ongoing packages. Like, Peter, you're a pastor, you're in the pulpit every Sunday. You're going to have ongoing content that you might want translated. And so we imagine there'll be packages that are, monthly packages. You get this many minutes per month or something like that. So we would gladly pay out an affiliate commission every single month for anybody you bring to us that signs up for that. So if you guys are looking for a way to make money and you want to share this with other people, man, we'd love that, because we certainly can't think of every use case, can't contact every church, can't contact every business that's out there that could take advantage of this. So
yeah, and I guess I'll tag on to that too. If you know an industry with a lot of content creators, you can kind of run an agency with that too, because I think there will be more content creators that are looking for, how do I get my stuff in other languages? Yeah. That's another huge opportunity.
Exactly. Cool. Scott, anything else?
Gentlemen, just thank you for allowing me to be a part of your group this evening. It has been a blast.
Appreciate it. So guys, we will send out a replay. The bonuses are going to end Sunday the 12th. That doesn't mean you can't help out afterwards or send people to us this way. Even after that, just end the bonuses at that point. Cynthia, what are the cool things you have for Amazon sellers that you mentioned? Well, mainly it was you're a Legends member already, but it was bonuses for being a part of the Legends group. We're jumping in the Legends group, but you're already in there, I think. So we just need to come up with something more creative for you. So,
those people that are in Legends, are you open to having them reach out to you? Because you kind of said that about having people come, if they're willing to come to you and sitting down for a day with them. I think if
sure.
They want to reach out and say, hey, I'm in Legends, but I want
we could do something different for those people. Yeah, if we're going to be doing retail arbitrage, it's been a long time since I've done that, so I'd probably find somebody local that does it all the time to do our retail arbitrage day or something. Yeah, I'm open to whatever. I'll be creative. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being on this and for trusting me to spend some time with me after seeing just a crazy title that was vague and didn't give you any information. That means a lot that you guys would do that. So again, hopefully get some of you that are interested in helping us out. If not, that's totally cool. Appreciate you anyway. We gave away a couple awesome bonuses just for hanging out with us, and I guess have a good night, everyone. Thanks so much. All right, see y'all.
You've been listening to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger. From right here in the Dallas Metroplex, Ryan teaches several entrepreneurial courses and group coaching programs to students all over the world. Be sure to listen next week at the same time for Streams of Income with Ryan Rieger.